Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the anime roster. This is Tom, and I'm joined with.
Theo.
And today we're going to be talking about Vinland Saga episode 16 for season 2. Now, this episode was something that I really. So it'd been a couple of weeks since I'd watched Vinland Saga, so I was basically catching up. And one thing that stuck out to me immediately was like, where are they going with this series so far? If that makes sense. Like, was that something that was on your mind, Theo? Because in the first season, everything was already established by episode 12, 13, and they were just rolling out from there. For this season, we're on episode 16, and I don't really see where the big picture is, right? They're still on this sort of farmland aspect of season 2, and a lot of the events that they're focusing on with the characters isn't as large as it was in the first season. It's kind of small things, like a person trying to run away or some love aspect. And I'm not saying that it's necessarily a bad thing that they're kind of downscaling, but I'm just wondering where are they going to go in the future? Because I'm pretty sure there's like 9 episodes left for season 2, and within that time frame, they have to be leading on to something, I guess, large. But in this episode, what happened so far was that in episode 15, Arnita, I believe that's what her name is, she figures out that her husband is still around. And also, we figure out, I think, in that episode or episode 14, that she is pregnant with Catel's child. And she is now on this path to try to help her husband out to ultimately escape. And that's kind of the main premise of this episode. So I guess what are your thoughts on that? And also, what are your thoughts on what I said initially, Theo, in the sense of where do you think this series is going and where it's heading?
I think the series is kind of like heading into this direction where eventually we're going to see uh, we're gonna see like something with Thorfinn, where um, and I'm not saying that this is true because again we're only we're anime onlys, so we don't really have much knowledge on the manga. But what I feel like might happen is that a lot of this is kind of has to do with like Thorfinn and just kind of him like reuniting with like his old family that he kind of abandoned like a long time ago. Now this doesn't mean that the series can't go in like a completely different direction, because like it still can. But I just feel like that whole like plot line was uh left kind of left unclosed for a reason, and I really do feel like that's something that we can potentially see more of, especially with him and like his friend that he's with right now. I can't remember his name, but yeah, I feel like that's definitely there's definitely something where there's definitely something going on there in the future. But as far as like the whole like love aspect thing between like Arnheid or Arneed and like her husband, I have no idea. And in fact, I actually do have some theories that like they could both just like tragically die here, and this doesn't mean that like this is a thing that'll happen. Because like I'm not sure myself, but I think that like something's gonna happen where it's like either Snake's gonna kill her or kill her husband, or like uh something's gonna happen to like the husband, because like we already saw that like in the end of the episode, like he was underneath like the granddad's like bed and stuff, and like he was already like bleeding to death, like he like was straight up like bleeding out around like his stomach area. So it's like, yeah, there's a lot that could be potentially going on. And uh what kind of shocked me the most was that like Snake kind of found them at the end. It didn't necessarily shock me, but it more so like I guess you kind of felt the tension between like Thorfinn and Snake, because you knew that like they got caught trying to sneak like the slaves out and try and run away from the farm, and really at this point the only person there who could fight off Snake at that point is just like Thorfinn, because you know everything that he went through in season one to now. So yeah, those are pretty much my thoughts on like where the series could be heading potentially, uh, and pretty much my thoughts on the whole episode. Like I'm just really interested in like what more could potentially happen, especially in like relation to like the whole romance thing with Arneid and like her husband, and like Thorfinn and I guess Thorfinn and like Snake and stuff. So yeah, those are pretty much my thoughts.
Yeah, and I would say there's like two other things that really stood out to me in this episode that I liked. And another thing I'll say before I speak about those things is that this episode, I guess, was okay, right? Like, it wasn't like the previous episodes where I found a lot of enjoyment from them, but I think a lot of that kind of has to do with, at least for me, where is the series heading? Like, where is the overall direction of the show? Maybe what this episode might be in the next two episodes might be in the future is that it's putting a wrap to this aspect of the arc, and then it's moving on to the big things, which I could see that to be the case, because in, I think, episode 13 or whatever, Cattell and his sons were coming back to their homeland with Old Man Leaf and his stepson, or I think adopted son Thorfinn, and then we also saw a little bit of Canute. So I think that is probably where they're heading, and maybe they're just putting a wrap up to this aspect of the narrative. But the two things that really stood out to me that I liked was also how Anar was like basically willing to sacrifice himself and his life for our needs, happiness, and her joy, and her being able to live her life with her husband, which I really liked a lot. And that kind of goes to lengths in terms of who he is as a character, and I like that they did that and added that addition to him in the plot, because I think that adds a lot of depth to his character. The other thing that I really liked a lot was towards the end of the episode when Thorfinn and Snake were about to, I guess, fight each other, and we see Thorfinn going back to his old tendencies, and he still has that muscle memory within him from all those years of battling, going to war, pillaging villages, doing things for Askeladd, and that's going to come back. And who do you think is going to win within that battle?
Considering that Thorfinn's the main character, I would I would most likely go with him. But the series could throw a curveball at me, and it could be Snake, and like he could still like keep like Anar and like Thorfinn as slaves, and like Arneid, and all those people, and it could go anywhere, but I'm most likely betting on like, yeah, I think that Thorfinn's probably gonna probably got this in the bag. Most likely, most likely Thorfinn.
Yeah, I think I also have Thorfinn winning in that battle as well. And yeah, I mean, those are really the, I guess, things that I liked about this episode. Some things I guess I didn't like was necessarily like kind of at this point in the story, the larger aspects of Vinland Saga, which made season one great, hasn't necessarily unfolded yet. But obviously I think it's going to unfold in the future. But to me, I kind of wanted it to happen a little bit earlier. But so far, I think the story's been great. I liked it, and I like kind of where the events are unfolding. And it seems like this sort of like this farm arc is coming to an end, and the larger aspect of the narrative is going to unfold. But yeah, that's what I say about that. I give this episode like a 7.5 out of 10. How about you, Theo?
About the same. I'd say like 7 or 8 out of 10. about there. I was thoroughly entertained. So yeah, pretty good episode.
Yeah, same. And I just want to say for everyone who's watching this, thank you guys so much. And is there anything else you want to say, Theo?
Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later.
Bye, guys.